So walking into Shield Hero Season 3, I was expecting an improvement on Season 2, and for many, Season 2 was called outright trash. I saw a lot of people go from Shield Hero being one of their favorite isekais to not wanting to discuss it. For me, it was like, I didn't have the same level of distaste that many had. I still very much enjoyed a lot of what Season 2 delivered, but it wasn't Season 1. It wasn't in that same ballpark. And I think for me personally, the best way I would describe Season 2 is I wouldn't go as harsh as people said, like, trash. No, like, that turtle didn't look too good, and there's elements that were very mediocre. But I think at worst, it left a weird aftertaste in my mouth, but it never was awful or horrible. But like I said, a lot of people claimed it as such, and that's why Season 3 probably didn't get that much hype, even though the trailers for it looked rather incredible. Like, haven't seen any of the trailers for Season 3, like, just go take a look at any of it. It was like, a lot of it was previewing the tournament arc, and it was clean animation, like, better than I think anyone was expecting after what we got with the turtle. So, for me, I did expect better, because I heard that the Tortoise arc was the worst of Shield Hero, or one of the weakest arcs, so everything afterwards is going to get more interesting. But the unfortunate thing is when an arc like that does take place in the middle of like, okay, we had Season 1 that was raved about, Season 3 is going to be great, but then we got to get through Season 2, it does kill buzz and momentum. So I'm here to say, you got to go watch Season 3. We are 10 episodes in as of the recording of this video, still have a couple of left. The best way I can sell you on this is the production's much better, it's much more in line with Season 1, the characterization is absolutely incredible. I have gone from literally despising characters. Spear Hero, Bow Hero, I'm not saying I'm besties with them. I'm not saying they're amazing. But holy hell, they've made me actually appreciate scenes with them in it. And I didn't expect to say that anytime soon. Ren, honestly, I'm really excited for Ren and Naofumi's relationship to blossom. And 3, basically, if you enjoyed the second half of Season 1, and the idea of extra elements that Season 2 had, like, kind of like bigger than just, okay, we need to defeat waves. Season 2 had a lot of good ideas in terms of progressing things out of just their own world, but expanding to other heroes and stuff. Take all that and combine it, and that's pretty much Season 3 in a nutshell. So I would actually say, yeah, Season 3 of Shield Hero is actually pretty amazing, and I think even if it's not necessarily amazing, it's pretty great at worst. Like, that's probably like the best way to sum it up. So yeah, go watch it. Now, I do have full live reactions to every single episode of this season of Shield Hero. Yes, I haven't been talking about it weekly on YouTube, and that's just a mixture of being busy and also knowing that Shield Hero just isn't being discussed as much. But if you would like to see all my thoughts to all the episodes, they are over there, and they will continue to be there. And hopefully Season 3 does well enough that, eventually when Season 4 comes out, there'll be more of a demand for YouTube. But I just wanted to kind of talk about the latest couple of episodes because I've really liked where the content's gone. But most importantly, just give my own little thoughts, throw my hat into the ring and say, if you have been worried or haven't started Season 3, should you? Yes, you should. But let's deep dive into some spoiler territory. So, a lot's happened. Pretty much this season has been building and preparing for the oncoming wave. And if we remember, even if Naofumi hates the other hero's guts, wants nothing to do with them, he's going to deal with this himself. He's going to get killed and new heroes will spawn. Like, that's pretty much where we're at. So we have to make amends. And surprisingly, they do a pretty good job. I mean, Spear Hero, I still wish we could just kill and get a new hero. But all things considered, despite his creepy obsession with Philo, I mean, he's at very least, he's calling Naofumi Papa at this point. He's basically calling him Daddy, and we haven't seen him for a little bit, and that's honestly pretty nice. Ren has been an amazing addition. Now, obviously, there is that hostility still, and it takes a bit to build through. But honestly, with where we leave off in terms of episode 10, I kind of feel like that's the thing I'm most excited for if he gets to live past the wave. Is that Season 4 and the potential relationship between him and Naofumi, I think has a lot of potential, especially because it seems like he's probably going to stick around Naofumi's area because, well, his new swordsmaster, and I don't know if there'll ever be anything more than that, I mean, is going to be around there, so it makes a lot of sense. Itsuki is the one we're trying to persuade next, which makes sense because if we do, then all the heroes will more or less be on good terms and can tackle the wave in a healthy way. But, I am baffled in a good way, but in a bad way. Like it's kind of like the love to hate situation where I wish bitch would die. I wish we'd cut her head off. But on the same time, all the drama she brings, as infuriating as it is, goddamn is she good at manipulating. This poor dumb bastard, he has this like childlike way of thinking he's gonna save the world, and he's being manipulated by the worst woman imaginable, who literally plans to sell him off into slavery for a good profit. After day in and day out, he brings her bags of gold where he's fighting for his life, all because he thinks he's saving slaves. And when you take a step back and you look at how easily things have been manipulated, from his point of view, Naofumi does look like he just has an army of slaves with him. It does look like he's being a scumbag, but holy hell, man. I hope and pray that he won't be as infuriating as Spear Hero. I hope he can just adjust like Ren did, because honestly, I legitimately like Ren as a character. Now, Fumi has always been great, but the thing is like, you understand this is a very difficult situation for Naofumi because he doesn't want to deal with any of their bullshit, but he also doesn't want to die because someone's going to summon new heroes. So it's an interesting beast. Last week was actually pretty cool because we end up with this dragon situation. So we kind of have this pet dragon that we hatch in season 3, and what ends up happening is something gets swallowed that turns it into like this emperor dragon, and it goes running amok. And what ends up happening with that story is actually really cool, and it's actually one of the more memorable kind of like father-daughter kind of style of stories that I've seen in a hot minute, especially when you go outside the traditional way of exploring. So we ultimately have to put down a dragon who has consumed both Philo and the like little body that, you know, we're trying to raise up to be our pet, but also probably a decent addition. And Philo's levels are getting drained. And by the end of the arc, she did lose like 20 levels, give or take, or something in that area. But the thing that we were worried about was her being erased from existence, because as those levels go down, eventually she'd be an egg and then probably just cease to exist. What was really interesting is that it seems like the father, like the original Emperor Dragon or whatever they're calling it, is still in that body now, but basically from the daughter's point of view, she's going to assume that the father passed on so she can move on and live her life. But it was just a really complex arc, and it's like, that was really the moment for me where I was like, okay, I need to talk about Shield Hero now, because even though a lot of people aren't talking about it, whether on Reddit, whether on social media in general or YouTube, those are the moments to me that I'm like, Shield Hero's back, and it's been back. They started with a tournament arc that was really well produced, and while some people like to say that Shield Hero was at its best in the first core, I think season 1, the second half of it, was the best content that I've seen of Shield Hero. I just really liked Naofumi's character development, and I liked where the story was going. But there was elements about season 2 and the other worlds and other universes and other heroes. I was like, okay, there's a lot to work with. It just felt like a messy season. Like, there's things I enjoyed watching, but it just felt messy. And season 3 feels like it took a lot of the best ideas of season 1 and the good ideas of season 2 and just has combined it, and now it feels like there's a lot more structure and the production's better. So hopefully when we do get season 4, fingers crossed, I mean, I hope we do, I imagine we will, these guys just keep on going even if they're at their worst. Ultimately, the structure and the production will remain strong, because season 2, as someone who didn't think it was trash, but the vast majority online seemingly did, it still had a lot to be desired, and honestly, season 3 has been a breath of fresh air. But I don't really have much more to say other than that. Go watch it, it's been a good season, the last couple of episodes are going to be fantastic, I'm sure, and hopefully they'll leave off on a note that will say, hey, season 4 is coming, and maybe more people will jump aboard. But I gotta do what I gotta do, even if I'm not gonna talk about it weekly on YouTube. I gotta at least talk about it a little bit. So let me know your feelings on the season down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more reviews channel, because you never know when I might drop more Shield Hero content, so you want to get updated. And like I mentioned, we have full live reactions to every single episode of season 3, and as long as I keep doing YouTube, I'll keep covering it over there as well. So season 4, season 5, it's always going to be over there. So they're over there if you're interested, and hey, I also give video shoutouts. So today we got Sebastian Just, Fear Machine, Akilos, Keegan Miller, Reen Breedhoff, Adelism, and Miguel Perez. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.